from place to place, place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning and welcome to the morning show on Tobago Updates Television. It is Tuesday, 11th June 2024, and a wet morning it is indeed. So ensure that you are well covered. Walk with your umbrellas, walk with your raincoats if you have one this morning. Yes, it's a wet one. We're into the rainy season, so you want to ensure that you cover yourself up appropriately. You don't want to be getting a flu in the rainy season. It is Tuesday morning, and I am Adana Kumbi, and we're transmitting to you live from the Port Mall in Scarborough, Tobago. A beautiful day to be in the land of the living, and so we give God thanks and praise for life, even in the midst of the things that are going on around us. We have a lovely show lined up for you this morning, and we're so happy that you chose to be with us this morning. We're happy to always be coming to your homes wherever you are, getting ready for school, for work, and just starting your day. Thank you so much for choosing us, and it's always a pleasure. But before we get into all of our talks this morning, we head on over to the news in 90 seconds.
News in 90 seconds is brought to you by Standards, never beaten on quality and prices.
Thank you, Adana. Here is your news in 90 seconds for Tuesday, June 11th, 2024. President of the Tobago Business Chamber, Martin George, responded to Chief Secretary Farley Augustine's plan to establish a police force within the Assembly. George stated that this force should be modeled after the municipal in Trinidad's regional corporation with specific legislations for its establishment. He noted once incorporated, the Tobago Regional Police Service could collaborate with the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. He also addressed the surge in crime on the island and attributed it to the influx of guns and drugs, which he suggested might be entering through both legal and illegal ports of entry. National Security Minister Fitzgerald Hines expressed deep concern over the killing of a teenager, Christian Lashley, by another teen. He criticized the community, suggesting onlookers might have prevented the incident, and emphasized the roles of parents and the community in preventing such tragedies. Blaming bad parenting, Hines urged young people to make better decisions, avoid drugs and alcohol, and exercise better judgment. He highlighted the troubling trend of youth violence in Trinidad and Tobago, both in and out of schools, reminding them that violence only leads to hospitalization, death, or prison. And finally, the U.S. Embassy Port of Spain has introduced a new online payment system for non-immigrant visa applicants. Applicants can now submit their application fees online after creating a profile. Payment can be made at Scotiabank branch or online using a valid credit card. This option offers convenience, avoiding the need for bank visits, and ensure immediate payment confirmation. Following payments, applicants can schedule an interview or register to send documents. The embassy advised applicants to rely on official websites for accurate visa information and services. And that was your news in 90 seconds.
Need a fresh start? Upgrade your life with the things you want. At Standard Distributors in Canaan, life is good with zero. Get that amazing fridge, the stylish sofa with zero down and easy financing. Your dream house is within reach. Visit Standard Distributors today. Life is good with zero.
Thank you, Bianna, for the news there in 90 seconds. And of course, on hearing that news yesterday from the U.S. Embassy, where you no longer, you have the option to pay online rather, it reduces that hassle of having to go into the bank and stand in line to make this payment. So it's really welcoming news this morning to hear that the U.S. Embassy has taken that position. Yes. It makes things more easy for persons wanting to apply. Sometimes people are deterred if there's too much hassle. So now,
especially the bank lines.
That's right. It really is frustrating going into some institutions and the bank in particular having to do that. So I applaud the U.S. Embassy for that. And persons who wanting to apply for the U.S. visa, you have that option as well. So make the best of it. Make absolute the best of it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're heading on over to our birthday shout out. Yes, it's that time of the morning where we say happy birthday to those who are celebrating. And this morning, what a way to start the rundown. What a way to start the lineup of birthday celebrants. This one is Mr. Hezekiah Wood. He is celebrating a birthday today. And we want to wish you a very happy birthday, Brother Wood. Happy birthday to you. And just in case you find the name sounds familiar, yes, this is the father of our very own Ronald Wood. Yes, happy birthday to you, Hezekiah Wood, coming to you from all of us here at the Tobago Updates Television family. And of course, from your son, Ronald. Yes, happy birthday to you. Next on screen and celebrating is Dr. Kemchow Salandi Alvarez. She's celebrating a birthday, and we want to wish you a very happy birthday today. We pray God's blessings upon your life, that you do enjoy your birthday and all the love and warmth that comes with celebrating a birthday today. So happy birthday to you. And finally, on our birthday shout-outs this morning, it's the lady, Kuki Melville. Kuki is celebrating a birthday today. And Kuki, we wish you the very, very best birthday possible. We pray God's blessings upon your life. We pray that as you go out there, you enjoy your day. If you know Kuki at all, you know that she'll be doing something special and enjoying her day today. So Kuki, happy, happy birthday to you. We pray God's blessings upon your life and that you do enjoy this next chapter as you walk into it gracefully. And all of you who are celebrating a birthday, remember it's the perfect opportunity to give God thanks for life, for He's the one who has sustained us. So remember always to say thank you to God for life. All right, you might be wondering, who are we having conversations this morning in studio? And of course, you want to stay tuned for this. We're speaking with Miss Curleen Sandy Mora. She is the PRO, Parent Executive, and Joe Sheldon, student PRO of the Signal Hill Secondary School Tourism Club, and we're talking about a sports and family day and a career fair, so you want to be part of that conversation. And then we speak with Secretary Assemblyman Natisha Charles Pantin. She's the Secretary of Food Security, Natural Resources, the Environment and Sustainable Development, as we speak on aligning the UN SDG with the Tobago Development Strategy. Yes, a very important conversation, of course, and we're going to get information. I know you're probably wondering what that is, but you want to stay tuned with us as we go through the details of that topic, as we bring the information to you, and you can be a part of the conversation as well and be aware and informed of what is happening right here in Tobago. So stay with us, of course, as we get into these conversations. But before we go for a break, I want to say good morning to all of our loyal viewers. This morning I see on the live Miss Pearl Murray Beard. Good morning to you. Good morning, special morning to you, Brenda Campbell. Good morning, Travis Moses. Good morning, Marilyn Spence, Joe Field. Good morning, Auntie Dora Lyons. Good morning, JSL Boris Vincent. Good morning to my parents, Sharon and Jeremiah Cumby. Good morning to all of you who are viewing from far and wide, whether you're looking at us on our Facebook live stream, YouTube, or on Amplia 102. Good morning and welcome, and we're so happy to have you with us. And here's what's going to happen as we go for a short break. We invite all of you to help us share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
The date has been set. Saturday, June 22nd, we head to the Jade Monkey once again for the launch of their 2024 Jufi and Mass Band presentation for Tobago Carnival. On Saturday, June 22nd, we gather at the Jade Monkey to get a glimpse of the Jade Monkey Mass presentation for 2024, the Tobago Festival, and also the launch of the Jade Monkey Jufi, Monkey See, Monkey Do.
I come from between island.
Get ready for another year of Tobago Carnival with the best band in Tobago, Jade Monkey Mass and the Jade Monkey Jufi. So come out on June 22nd as we launch Monkey See, Monkey Do Jufi, and for Tobago Mass, the Tobago Festival's presentation, brought to you by the Jade Monkey. This one powered by Carib, Digicel, and Next 99.1 FM, a member of the TTT Limited Media Network. Jade Monkey.
Go down in the center, go down. I can't live without you, I can't be without you for too long. Cause when I'm around you, I feel like the heavens is coming down. I feel it in my soul every time we on the road, is a miracle.
Deltec Distributors Weekend Special. Wings Friday, 3 pounds wings, 2.5 kilogram fries. Special 100 TT. Soup Saturday, 2 pounds cube beef, 2 pounds cow heel, 2 pounds chicken foot, 2 pounds pigtail, or smoke bone. Special $150. Super Sunday, 3 pounds leg and thigh chicken, 3 pounds sliced pork, 3 pounds lamb slice, 3 pounds cheese, 2 pack of pasta. Special $250. Located Main Road, Argyle, Tobago. We deliver 20 TT. Contact us on deltecdistributors.com 395-5040 or 237-0102. Deltec Distributors Weekend Special.
Need a fresh start? Upgrade your life with the things you want. At Standard Distributors in Canaan, life is good with zero. Get that amazing fridge, the stylish sofa with zero down and easy financing. Your dream house is within reach. Visit Standard Distributors today. Life is good with zero.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning.
Welcome back to the morning show on Tobago Updates Television. I am Adana Kambi, and we begin conversations this morning in studio. Our first guest, Miss Joshelle Dana. She is the student PRO of the Signal Hill Secondary School Tourism Club, and Miss Curleen Sandy Mora, who is the parent executive PRO as well. And this morning we're talking about a sports and family day event that is coming up later in the month. However, there is a fundraiser event that comes before, which is a career fair, and we're here to talk a little bit about that. Good morning, ladies, and welcome.
Good morning.
No stranger at all to Tobago Updates morning show. Joshelle Dan, of course, student there at the Signal Hill Secondary School. So you guys are having a sports and family day coming up.
Yes.
But of course, you know, these things cost money. You must find the funding somewhere. And so you decided to have this career fair as a fundraiser prior to the event. So tell us a little bit about the career day and how it is going to raise funds to assist with the sports and family day.
All right, so the theme for the career day is Dress for Success. So students are invited to come to school dressed in whatever career path that they choose. So firefighter, lawyer, doctor, farmer, DJ, whatever they want, they dress as. They pay $10, and yeah, that's how we're planning to raise our funds. In addition to that, we have student entrepreneurs who would be a part of this career fest, and they would be able to sell their own goods and items. So we have a makeup artist, a student makeup artist who would be doing face painting. We have somebody who would be doing nails. We have somebody who would be doing chow. So we have a lot of things that we have planned to basically raise funds.
And this is taking place, when is this taking place?
Okay, Friday the 14th of June.
That's this coming Friday.
Yes.
And is it during school? Well, obviously it's during school hours.
Right.
And so the entire student population is expected to be there.
Yes, of course.
Right. And you said something very interesting. You said that the students will be dressing in the career path that they chose. Mm-hmm. And then you started listing out firefighters, lawyers, and then you said DJ. How does one dress like a DJ?
Well, however they decide to dress. So what we want is for students to express themselves creatively. We don't, yes, we have the conventional career paths, as I mentioned before, the lawyer, the firefighter. What we want is for students to understand that whatever career path you have or you want to do does not have to follow a pattern that somebody else has already established. So whatever it is that you feel comfortable with, whatever you want to do as an individual, you come and you do that. We want you to express yourselves in whatever way that you can.
And how has the feedback been in terms of the student populations? Is it that they have to register, and have they been registering? Have they been showing excitement? How is it going?
Well, apparently there were a lot of students who came to visit Miss Karut yesterday, so we know that they are excited. I myself am excited. I cannot wait to show you what I'll be dressing up as. I'm not going to say it. I cannot say what it is as yet. It's a big surprise. So, yes, it's going to be a exciting event. So I know that the students are ready, and I know that this is something that they were anticipating for.
And Miss Sandy, tell me a little bit in terms of, I know students are very creative and they come up with their own ideas, and they have, especially in this time that we're in now, they're very, very expressive. How has it been in terms of working along with the team or the committee to get them to come up with the ideas, to be involved, to participate? How has it been working with them?
Honestly, being part of the tourism club is amazing. Because my daughters who are shy are outspoken, they want to be a part of everything, and you don't usually see children wanting to do that. Children now just to themselves and have on their earbuds, only into music, but now everybody wants to be a part of it. They're really ready to showcase what they want to do. It's not the traditional or the conventional firefighter, police officer, that kind of thing, who wants to come out and show, well, I want to be a content creator, I want to be a fashion designer. They are ready to show their teachers, their parents, and their peers what they really want to do. It is extremely exciting.
And you know what I was thinking while you were speaking, and you did say something as a content creator, because with the advent of COVID, everybody had to go online, and you had to find ways, to earn income. And so we saw that blowing up. And the fact that they could gravitate to that and see an income stream there, you know. So I'm thinking that this is a really good idea, and that it kind of expands their thinking. And I like the fact that you decided intentionally to move away from the traditional career paths, and you're going to skills-based, because a lot of people have so many skills that are untapped, that they're unaware of. And I know some of your students who actively engage in their skills right now. I even had some work done by some of them, if I'm able to say, Q's palettes. You know, she did some work for me, and it was really, really exceptional. So, you know, I really want to see how this pans out and how the students are able to monetize, because you also said that there'll be things available for sale, goods and services also. So, you know, I really am looking forward to see how this rolls out. And, you know, in terms of engagement, so is it that you're inviting persons from the outside to come in and participate as well? How is it rolling out?
So this is a student event. So this is for students only. This would be happening during their lunchtime. So from 11:45 to 1 o'clock. So yes, students only. You could watch on your screens, because we'll be recording everything. Just want to put in a little
Those content creators, eh?
Yes, as content creators. So we have a famous TikToker. I'm not going to say who it is as yet. It's a big surprise. Famous TikToker who will be there as well. So students could look out for that.
Wow, this is sounding so amazing. I wonder if I can still fit into my compre. Well, my uniform would have been a compre uniform. That's a Signal secondary school uniform. So my disguise might not work. But it sounds very, very interesting. And you know, I really am happy that you're getting the cooperation of the students and the excitement and the buzz. And I could feel the excitement coming from you, Joshelle. And I do hope that, you know, all the students participate and you know, put your best foot forward. You never know what could happen from this. You never know who can see you. You guys are recording. You have a TikTok coming. You have all sorts of things happening there. And so opportunities can open for people. So I want to wish you guys the very, very best. But in closing, before we go, I want you also to talk a little bit about your Sports and Family Day that is also coming up right after.
Okay, so shout out to Team Periwinkle first. So our Sports and Family Day event, so we have different houses based on flowers. So we have Pui, we have Periwinkle, we have Immortal, and we have Hibiscus. So the reason why we have done this is so that students can foster their own creativity. We want students to do their own match past or dance past or whatever they want. So we did that, and we want to foster a little rivalry, a little competitive spirit. All right, Periwinkle. Anyways, I'm putting a punchline there. That's my house.
I can tell.
But really and truly, a lot of us are excited about it. I know that Pui had their own sales yesterday, the ice cream sale yesterday, and it went well. So It is about allowing students to learn the skills of organizing and planning and event management and all of these types of things. So the Sports and Family Day event is on the 27th of June at the Bukuru Integrated Facility. Right. So the students of the Tourism Club will basically, they will put into different houses and they have different events and games that we will be playing and so on. The event is open to anybody if they want to come and participate. $20 for adults and $10 for children.
Quite affordable if you ask me, for all the excitement that you're talking about there.
Yes.
And I just want to put a plug here. Signal Hill Secondary School and the Tourism Club, you could not have chosen a better PRO. Joshua is doing you all justice in bringing out the information. She's also exuding all the excitement and encouraging persons to participate. So kudos to you, Miss, as well. And I just really want to encourage other young groups and other schools to form clubs like this, to bring the unity, the togetherness, the skills, the talents, the cooperation. As Miss said, her children were shy, and now they're very, very involved and engaged in this. So this is, if not before, today you're hearing of a transformation in children, because we know young children these days, they're really to themselves and they get locked into their devices, but now there's an opportunity here for them to express themselves among their peers. So congratulations to you guys. Yes. In closing, is there anything else you want to share?
Well, I hope that you all tune in to see what we would be doing on Friday. I'm excited for Friday. And come out to our Sports and Family Day event and come and support our students. We know that we're working very hard to make sure that all these events would come off the way that we want to. So a little support could go a long way, and you could come and see the best tourism club on the island.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I told you that you all chose the best PRO. Joshua is doing a really, really fine job here. And what is really exciting about this is that you're able to balance your academics together with social engagements, because it is very important. Nobody just wants to be in a book all day, every day, And so being able to have this opportunity and this avenue to express yourselves is really, really welcomed. And the challenge is there. She said the best tourism club on the island. Let's see how many. Sorry?
The biggest.
Yes.
The biggest. Wow. Wow. So let's see how many more clubs we can have going on the island of Tobago with this same type of energy, this same type of creativity. Let us come to a place where we can express ourselves, live and enjoy being young. I'm telling you, it is the best time of your life, being young. No responsibilities except learning your schoolwork and getting your passes. Yes, that's your only responsibility. But enjoy it. Let's come together and, of course, support the Signal Hill Secondary School Tourism Club as they embark on this project on Friday. I'm looking forward to see how it comes out. I will be peeping on your page to see what's happening there, because I, too, am excited about it. And all the best to you guys. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, we're speaking with Joshua Dan, student PRO of the Signal Hill Secondary School Tourism Club, and Miss Colleen Sandy Mora, parent executive of the club, as well, as they talk about a career fair, which is not the traditional type, not the conventional type of career, but we're talking about skills-based professions. Let us support them. It's happening this Friday at the school between the lunch break hour. Let us peep their page and see what is happening there, and then there's Sports and Family Day, which is coming up later on in the month of June. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to go for a short break before we continue conversations this morning and get in studio with our guest. And of course, before we go, we ask you to help us. Will you join me and help us to share the live?
Share the live. Share the live.
No place like home, home, home. Oh, I love Tobago, baby. When we outside, it's an ocean of love. All that we align to the stars up above. Let we dance now, take a chance now with me. And we go jump till morning. Look, the moon gone sleeping. Tell them we not leaving till Philly, last drop of Bacchanalis, madness in the capital. So I feel like I'm running tongue again, jump and shake the ground again, live with all my friends and them. No place like home, home, home. We go jump till the moon come down. It's we who the stars shine on. Play a mass and break away. Freedom in with DNA.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
This is how it's gonna go. They better look up and look, 'cause this is your show, and everybody's gonna know. Say it to them once again. They better look up and look. This is your show, and everybody's gonna know. That's how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to the morning show on Tobago Updates Television. I am Adana Kumbi, and remember, if you're going outdoors this morning, to stay warm, cover yourselves up, your feet, your head, ensure you have an umbrella, a jacket, and if you have some rain boots, maybe you might want to try them on this morning. All right, we continue conversations this morning in studio with our guests, and we're speaking with none other than Assemblyman Natisha Charles Pantin, Secretary of Food Security, Natural Resources, the Environment and Sustainable Development. And we're speaking about aligning the UN SDG with Tobago Development Strategy. And of course, it's a conversation you want to be a part of. It affects you and me, and it impacts our standard of living here on the island of Tobago. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, Bagatelle Bacalet. Good morning, Tobago. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago.
Of course, you know, the topic kind of sounds long, and people might be wondering, what are we talking about this morning? And, you know, it's very engaging, and it's important that they understand what we're talking about. So we want to get straight into the conversation this morning as we talk about this motion. But before we talk about it, we want to get into what is the sustainable development goals of the island of Tobago right now, and how does this whole conversation tie into that?
So it is a lot to explain in the short time allotted to me. So this morning I woke up about 5 a.m. and I decided, you know what, let me try my best to condense it into, you know, simple everyday living, because that is what it's all about. The United Nations came up with 17 major goals, right? For the United Nations and its, you know, partnering countries. And it's really to address the fundamental rights and basic needs, right, of all. And it really speaks to how we relate to each other as human beings,
and how we resolve all those issues that have been plaguing societies for generations, for decades. Yeah. So they came up with 17 goals. I can't remember all off the top of my head, but some of them are no poverty, zero hunger, and all these goals are should be achieved by 2030. So there are certain targets that we all have to address to achieve these goals by 2030. Yeah. So no zero poverty, no poverty, zero hunger, reducing inequalities, climate action, life below water, sustainable communities and cities, collaborating, all the stakeholders collaborating. So it's a lot. Quality education, access to healthcare. So it addresses all those basic needs. And to tell you the truth, when I looked at those 17 goals, and you can go and Google it, right? Anybody can go online and Google those goals. It really speaks to your heart, right? For us returning back to those, cultural, affinity for doing good.
That's right. And community kind of living.
Correct.
Yes.
And let's look at my division, for example, and it would be obvious, zero, hunger, no poverty. These are the things that I have to focus on, but it doesn't stop there, because my division, we would have to collaborate, which is goal number 17, for collaboration. We would have to collaborate with the division of health to achieve some of these goals, right? Or we may have to partner with community development to achieve some of these goals. So it's really how we could improve, the entire world, for example, to ensure that our generation, right, we consume without compromising the future generation to consume, and of course, in developing islands, countries, without compromising the environment. So it's really addressing sustainability.
And this is not just, as you mentioned, this is not just about Tobago.
No.
This is instituted by the United Nations.
Yes.
And so we all have this goal to achieve. We have 6 years in which to do it.
Yes.
6 years to do it, because by 2030 it has to be done. So we have to have boots on the ground, like the policemen say, to ensure that we get to get all of these things, at least started, and to see some measure of progress. Can I ask, where are we now in terms of, okay, so they passed this, they had this conversation, and this is what we're doing. Where are we now in the Tobago space? I know we're probably in the conversation stage, because of course we have to talk, we have to collaborate, we have to strategize before we can implement. So where are we now?
So we have key personnel assisting the divisions in building out what we have to do at a THA level, and also at the stakeholder level, so to ensure that we achieve these goals. But you know what? Nothing in life is perfect.
That's right.
So I'll give you an example. So I brought a motion to the House recently to align my development budget with achieving these goals. And I have said in this space openly that I have no development budget, right? I have less than $4 million every fiscal. So that is my challenge. But I haven't let it, stop me from becoming creative. And of course, a big part of my entire success is the Executive Council recognizing the challenges that we have as a division, and the Chief Secretary ensuring that we achieve our mandate at food security. So I was really happy that, Mr. Andrews, Bobby Andrews from planning, he continues to, go around to the divisions and, try to train persons on how we could better organize ourselves at the divisions to achieve these goals. So I'll tell you something. I was extremely proud after, all the consultations to hear that
my division, the Division of Food Security, Natural Resources, the Environment and Sustainable Development, we are 55% there with all the projects and initiatives that we have been rolling out. So I have to attribute the success to all my technical officers, the field officers, people that really signed on to building Tobago into the greatest little island on the planet. For too long, we have been fighting the politics. You know, if you do this, you know, somebody trying to fight it down. And we aren't getting anywhere, really, right? And there would come a time where when we start, you know, we look around and you see we haven't done anything. We haven't grown as a society, all because of the political banter, yeah? Now, I know I'm a politician, yeah? I know that, all right? And it's important that we point out the shortcomings in the allocations that we get. But we point that out because we want, as Tobagonians, to develop Tobago into the greatest little island on the planet. And we need to stand up for that fundamental right, I call it that, because we wouldn't be able to achieve our basic needs and fall in line with these goals, yeah? So we would continue articulating for money because it's the only way that we can fix this island. But it isn't our responsibility alone as the Tobago House of Assembly. The collaboration speaks to the business sector. It speaks to you know, everyone, right? What can we do? For example, at your home, you know, things that we take for granted, that extra shower that we like to take, you know, bathing for an hour, you know, how can we conserve water? And this year we would have experienced a very harsh dry season. So how do we manage that basic thing around us? You know, how do we, for example, the light bulbs in our homes, right? They are energy efficient bulbs. You know, maybe in terms of transport, you know, you have a friend, let's carpool, yeah? So we need to rethink all the things that we do that could add up, you know.
It sounds as if this part of it where I am involved,
yes,
it really calls for behavioral changes.
Correct.
Because when you're talking about carpool,
yes,
I have my car and I want to drive in my car.
Yes.
Because if I go somewhere when I'm ready to leave, I'm ready to leave.
Yes.
You know, and so the challenges come there. And so we have to try now to change behaviors, because I can tell you that at this point in time, I know some of these students in primary school, they are doing projects. And one of the projects I heard about was pollution, air pollution, land pollution, water pollution.
Correct.
And one of the things that the students are focusing on now is how to reduce carbon emissions. So carpooling came up, which is very relevant. So, you know, we really have to pay attention to our environment.
Correct.
We have to pay attention to our environment. You made comments about how harsh our dry season was.
Correct.
And the call that we kept getting from WASA in terms of conserving the water. We take it for granted.
We take a lot of things for granted. Even at you know, at the division level, at the divisional level, we need to look at those things that we would say waste. You know, how could we better organize ourselves to, you know, have extra resources to do other things, right? And that would redound to you as well, yeah? So it's at the THA level, at the business sector level, and of course at the individual level.
And you know, something like this is a massive undertaking, because of course we're talking about people getting involved now. It's not just institutions, not just the THA, not just the business sector, but people, the inhabitants of the land have to get involved. So I'm thinking now, is there anything in terms of aggressive public education to sensitize people of the importance of the behavioral changes that are required to achieve the goals, not just for the sake of recording, well, we've achieved our goals, but of course for sustainability, because that's part of it, sustaining ourselves and ensuring that generations that will come after us will live in a space that is comfortable.
Right. And you are correct. We need massive education. But first, you know, training the different divisions, you know, on what sustainable development is, and causing them to rethink our approach, you know, or their approach to management of their limited resources, and of course changing your work ethic,
right? The way we communicate, right? I say it's really a matter for the heart, right? No longer should we think, this is my space and I'm managing because I'm the manager, you have that kind of thing as well, right? But, if you coordinate with managers, right, how can we as managers across the space, across the divisions, work together, right, so that we could achieve particular goals? Yeah, and of course there are different targets that, and indicators that you have to look for. Yeah, but that's really it. And our division, we, for example, we did a program on women involved in natural resources and agriculture, and it really was a program to bring women together that have a passion for craft and doing agro-processing, all the stakeholders involved in agriculture, really organizing them, training them, trying to improve the quality of their products, right, in order to make an extra income, and of course getting them ready for export. And recently we had an exercise where trained professionals came and identified different products that were ready for the US market. So that is an effort to reduce, inequalities, between men and women, yeah? But it's really those projects that can contribute to the bigger goal. How do we organize our data, for example? Now, really, Tobago, our data gets lost in the national statistics, yeah? So Tobago now needs to embark on collecting data, right? And how we use that data to now improve the lives of citizens, yeah? So if, for example, if we get caught up in poverty statistics nationally, it wouldn't give you a true reflection of what poverty would be at the Tobago level, yeah? So we are looking at organizing our data at the micro level and managing what we have in Tobago, yeah? So we would have established at the division, even before this motion, the research and development information section under the division. And of course, we're building out the Tobago Agriculture Research Institute. And both will be working together, not in silos. They'll be working together to create a ready institute for persons pursuing agriculture in a meaningful way, right? And of course, addressing those issues like climate change and all these things, you will get that at the Tobago Agricultural Institute. So we have been doing a lot, yeah?
Ladies and gentlemen, we're speaking with Assemblyman Secretary Natasha Charles Pantin of the Division of Food Security, Natural Resources, the Environment and Sustainable Development, and a very, very important and interesting topic this morning, something that we should all be a part of. I'm inviting you to leave your comments on the live stream as we engage in this conversation, because it is important that we all understand, not because it's a call from the UN, but because it really does affect and impact our daily lives wherever we live, whether it's Trinidad, Tobago, the Caribbean region, internationally. It affects and impacts all of our lives. So be a part of this conversation this morning as we go into the elements and the aspects that really affect us, and to see how we can, add to the change that we want to see come 2030 and even beyond. So, let's participate in this conversation, but we have to go for a short break. And when we come back, we're going to continue this conversation. And before we go for this break, of course, call all your friends, get them involved in the conversation and help us to share the life, share the life, share the life. We'll be right back.
Need a fresh start? Upgrade your life with the things you want At Standard Distributors in Canaan, life is good with zero. Get that amazing fridge, the stylish sofa with zero down and easy financing. Your dream house is within reach. Visit Standard Distributors today. Life is good with zero.
The best place to stay in Tobago is at Thorn's Place with rates starting as low as 200 TT. Call or WhatsApp 745-7306 or 682-8676. We are located uptown Scarborough, 5 minutes away from the port. Remember, at Thorn's Place, our aim is to make your stay safe and affordable.
Mouth-watering fries, salads, combos, and specials galore. Feeling for something to eat? Come and see. Our rotisserie is seasoned to the T. Kicking chicken, masala, and jerk roast. Crispy fries made from scratch. Who do you know can beat that? Or salads freshly cut and packed. When you taste it, you'll be wanting to come back. So come check us out on number 2 Robinson Street, Uptown Scarborough, Tobago. We open on Saturday nights from 7:30 to 11:30 p.m. Monday to Thursday, we're open from 10 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. and on Friday, 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Contact us at 772-7443 and all social media handles at The Rotisserie Factory.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning.
Welcome back to the morning show on Tobago Updates Television. We're now at 7:44 a.m. So if you're getting to work for 8, remember it's a wet morning. So be safe when you're dropping the children off and getting yourself to work. If you're a little bit late this morning, that's okay. Remember the streets are a little bit wet, so take your time in getting there. All right, we continue conversations this morning in studio. We're speaking with Assemblyman Natisha Charles Panton, Secretary of Food Security, Natural Resources, the Environment and Sustainable Development. Very interesting conversation this morning as we speak about the Sustainable Development Goals of Tobago. And of course, we're talking about an international move by the UN. There are some goals that we must achieve by 2030, which also include eradication of poverty, no hunger. We're talking about education and, sustainable living and development. And so we're having that conversation this morning, and we're hoping that you're listening and that you're paying attention. And also, we welcome your comments. We welcome your views on this topic as well. Even if you have concerns or questions or you have points of view to participate in the conversation, this is a conversation that involves all of us. So we continue this morning, and when we were speaking, you mentioned that your division is at 55% in terms of achieving your goals. And we want to talk a little bit more about some initiatives that you have done and the things that you have projected to do in the coming of course, will be years and, you know, for your period there.
Yes, well, and that is a whole lot, yeah? So we're looking at those goals like zero hunger, no poverty. And, you know, in coming to the studio today, my husband and I were listening something on the radio, and we heard that, you know, the richest 1%ers of the world, they have more money than all the people in the world. Could you imagine that?
Wow.
And you still have people who don't eat every day, right? They have meals some days.
This is really heartbreaking, you know?
Correct. And when you do the comparison, right, in Tobago, if I can't eat today, for sure I'm getting a plate of food from my uncle out the road, yeah?
Yes.
Or from a friend. Some people don't have that option. So becoming sustainable as an island is important. As a country is important. And my division, we have been trying to encourage home gardening. And we have over 950 registered home gardeners that our home garden unit support. Yeah? They support all the schools, right? They have covered about 56 schools so far, including the early childhood centers, setting up hydroponic self-watering systems, training persons on how to build and grow boxes and to utilize grow boxes and different techniques on how to grow food. Right, we do massive seedling distribution and seed distributions. I show you, we would have done it at the back of this building.
That's
recently.
right, yes.
Massive. So we are trying to encourage each and every person to become self-sufficient, yeah, at home gardening. And of course, we are encouraging commercial farming because we have to look at food security as a whole. And I must mention fishing. Now, since I came into office, we would have seen TADCO in the media all the time. And it is difficult for a division that has no development budget. And when I say I don't have it, let me be clear. What I get as a development budget, when I got into office, the entire budget, the majority of the budget, that is used to pay workers. So I don't have like many divisions or ministries, let me say ministries, because they have 56 million to build a zoo in Trinidad. I have no money
for projects.
For projects, none, zero. Right? As a matter of fact, in 1 month, that less than 3 million done, right? At the beginning of the fiscal. So we have been moving mountains, yeah, with what we get, right? And TADCO has not had a major injection of funds since then. So I don't know if that's deliberate, maybe it is, but it has caused us to swim. So they threw us out in the water, so we learn how to swim. We learn how to restructure for efficiency. And that is why the missing capital of paradise no longer missing, right? It's fishing. As a matter of fact, I believe it's over $2 million they have gotten to date, right? And in the beginning, about 75% of that money, that was used to sustain the company. So that is success. That is us trying to make it. So listening to people talk about TADCO, if we could successfully fix TADCO, then it is an indication that Tobagonians can do great things, just like any other country, right? And building your own community, setting up the infrastructure that is necessary to feed Tobago, to build sustainable cities and communities. That is part of the UN Sustainable Development Goals. So if we're not doing that, then we definitely, and then, you know, we signed on to it, right? So that means, you know, if we are not getting that support, we're not getting our fair share of the budget, it's difficult for Tobago to hold its own.
I understand that because, of course, at the end of the day, everything has a cost to it. Everything has a cost, and you have to find ways. We just had an interview this morning with a young girl from school, and they found a way to raise funds for an event they want to host. So you have to find, if you don't have that, then you come with a challenge. You have to be innovative. I've seen the innovation of this division in terms of getting things off the ground. And now there's a whole, I'm sure there's so many more projects that you have that you want to roll out. Finances being the challenge, yes, but what are some of the things that you have planned? What are some of the strategies that you have lined up, or even the ideas as they come to mind in terms of executing and implementing for getting to the goal of no poverty, no hunger?
Yes, all the different goals, and it's a lot. It's 17.
That's right.
Right? As recent as yesterday, you would have seen in the media that the Tobago Reforestation and Watershed Rehabilitation Company, they held a consultation with the community of Corland and environs to manage the Corland Park, right? To come up with a user policy for the Corland Park. And, you know, we have been developing user fee policies or user policies for the open spaces in Tobago. That's another attempt at trying to manage our resources sustainably. So we started out with the botanic gardens, and if you look at the botanic gardens, you see the condition of the fence, just the fence alone. You look at how the landscaping is perfect, but you see the infrastructure, it's very poor. So we implemented a policy there, right? Consultations will begin, but we started out with something, right? And you would have seen the potential of the botanic gardens for the Christmas period, where generations of children, they never walked the botanic gardens, but they did so. They walked, they played, they spread their blankets, and they watched movies for Christmas and Easter. We have to rethink how we manage our spaces, right? When we had the oil boom, you had a lot of money floating around. But now Petrotrain closed down. We don't have what we used to have. And that is it teaches us a lesson there, that in the times of plenty, if you don't manage what you have, there will be a time where there is little.
It reminds me of the Bible, 7
Correct.
years of feast, 7 years of famine.
7 years of famine.
That's right.
And if we don't rethink how we use our spaces, and the famine don't have to only be about money and resources. Look at the transformation in terms of culture. I was speaking at a stakeholder consultation with police and Coast Guard to better manage the marine park, the Bucko Reef Marine Park. And the culture now, people are fearful of their lives, right? You have a small shop somewhere, and any day somebody can run into that shop with a weapon. And I remember in my childhood days, the respect that we gave to officers, the respect that we gave to even politicians, right? Now you don't have it.
The respect we even gave to each other. Because I remember as a child growing up, I dare not have anybody send a message to my mother saying I did not say good morning to them on the streets. So the culture really has changed.
The culture has changed. So we are a country that I say we could use, an island that we can use as a model. Because we haven't lost it all. We still have time to teach our young people how to respect each other, how to say no to drugs. When we were growing up, right, it was a song for us, saying no to drugs, right? It was playing on the radio and the TV all the time. So from the time somebody sticks something into your face, you say, no, I don't want to go on drugs. But now you have people just rolling it in your face, and it doesn't matter to them, right? You have all kind of numbers, and so the times of famine it doesn't only speak about money, when you are unsafe, when you feel unsafe, right? The safety issue is not just for the TTPS alone. They can't do it alone. It's for all of us. How do we organize ourselves as communities to protect each other? So I don't only look at just money and managing our open spaces for people to interact, to get to know each other. You knew everybody that lived in your community as a child.
That's right.
So that is an attempt to bring back the values that we had in our villages, in our communities.
That's right. That's right. You know, we really, it takes a community. It takes a village. They say it takes a village to raise a child, but it takes a village to raise a village.
Correct.
Because if we want to stay sustainable, we really have to, I feel as if we become so selfish and self-indulgent that we just think about what we want immediately in our, you know, our own space, that we don't think externally. Sometimes you see the children on their gadgets and you're calling them. You have to call them 5 times before they hear the name and respond.
Right.
So we really have to come back to that place of where the culture changes as well. And, you know, as we're talking about the Sustainable Development Goals, and you mentioned that one of the goals is collaboration.
Correct.
We definitely have to come together, you know, all these town hall meetings that we have, ensure that people know what the 17 goals are. You said that we can Google them. You can go online and Google what the 17 goals are. Get familiar with it so that when the conversations roll out, you can be a part of the conversation. You can ask the questions that you think need to be asked. You can raise the topics. You can even give ideas in terms of how can we move forward in completing these goals. It's not just the division of food security alone responsible for all 17 goals. Don't think that that's it at all. It's all of us.
It's all of us. And I'll tell you something. If we don't, as individuals, contribute to achieving these goals, we are the ones that will lose. Because if you are rich, you will spend all the money building huge things around you to protect you, when all you could do is support your neighbor.
So that you don't have to protect yourself.
So you don't have to protect yourself. Your neighbor will protect you.
That's right. That's right.
So I'm saying that these sustainable development goals, they are matters for the heart. Yeah? It relates to your heart and how you interact with one another. So it's not about the secretary of the division. I mean, for the most part, it is how I organize my division in government to provide that support for the community. But we as individuals, we have a mandate as well. We have a responsibility. We are not supposed to wait until we walk into KFC or we drive into the gas station to have to face a gunman to say, look, let me see how I could contribute to the young man across the road who couldn't buy his school books. Right?
Yeah. You know, this conversation, as you started the conversation by saying it's a matter of the heart, and you're ending it on the same note. It really is a matter of the heart. The policymakers can make the policies, they can implement the projects, we can roll out, but it also takes each and every one of us to participate, to do our own, look out for each other, be a brother's keeper, run your home garden, see how best you can sustain yourself and help somebody else. Remember, if you have everything and I have nothing, I'm trying to figure out how to get something. And if you alone have it all, I'm coming to you, right? So that's the way how the world works. So you have to think not just about yourself, but about the person who does not have and looking at your own thing. So in closing, I want you to just summarize exactly what you want our listeners to take away from this conversation as we work towards the Sustainable Development Goals.
I want them to understand that in building the greatest little island on the planet, you have to, and I know all of us, we would have had our experiences in life, but we are at a crisis stage where we need one another to fix Tobago. So whether or not you have a degree, it doesn't make you better than somebody else, other than the fact that you have more information to help. If you don't have a degree, you have a skill. So it equips you to be part of building Tobago. So I want all of us to just Google what the Sustainable Development Goals are, understand them, understand the objectives, the targets, and then the conversation will continue how the Tobago House of Assembly will fit in to this entire, because there's a framework that we will roll out and have a consultation with Tobago. But the preliminary thing, what you can do now for yourselves, is to Google those goals, understand them, and then when I speak, you would fully understand why we are embarking on this really important journey to build the greatest little island on the planet that fits into the wider global community.
Thank you so much, Assemblyman Natisha Charles Panton, Secretary for Food Security, Natural Resources, the Environment and Sustainable Development. We're talking about our Sustainable Development Goals as instituted by the United Nations. Every country has to get to there by 2030, and you and I can help to get there. So let's work together to make this happen. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is where we end the morning show on Tobago Updates Television, but we don't end our programming here. We head on over to Tobago Notes and then on to GMT. So stay with us. And as you stay with us, of course, we ask you to help us. Share the live, share the live, share the live.
We have not had a shark attack in my years of scuba diving and being in the marine environment. We have never had an encounter such as that one. So we have to understand why is it that this happened, and understand that, listen, you know, these creatures, that's their home, and being in the water as a diver and even as a swimmer, one of the inherent risks is encountering one of these creatures. Yeah, so I don't think that is a worry, but I think it's a wake-up call for us to make sure that we equip our lifeguards, equip our emergency responders, so that they know in the unlikely event of an incident like that, we know what to do. As divers, we would see sharks once in a while. But most of the time, it's what we call provoked or unprovoked occurrences. So when we see them, they tend to avoid us. They don't like the human contact at all. We are not part of the ecosystem, so they don't know us as food. So the fear isn't there. The fear is mutual. They are more scared of us as we of them. Okay, so we just have to respect the animal.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
It's only when I go abroad and I see what is out there and I come back and I measure against what is here. There is no comparison to beauty.
In some writings of our history, it is said that Christopher Columbus called it Bella Fauna, meaning beautifully formed.
Natural, beautiful, peaceful. Yes, I get emotional. That's why I'm here.
One of the fascinating things about nature, there is always something new, and especially in the tropics where there's such wide diversity, persons can experience and have the awe associated with some of the beaches we have, aquatic life we have, some of the fascinating birds we have within a day, within a short period of time.
You
have the Caribbean Sea on one side, you have the Atlantic Ocean on the other side. On our doorstep, a fringe reef that wraps around the entire area. You have this huge amount of biodiversity and liveliness of the entire water that surrounds the island. We also do bioluminescent nighttime tours, which are like an escape into the deep, dark secrets of this, glowing phenomenon. It's like this almost cosmic effect. It's just something to be seen.
I know everybody in the village, and everybody know me. That is the nice thing about here.
Tobago is used to the extended family. There was always a grandmother, aunt, uncle. There was always love.
We eat and we drink, we laugh, and everything together.
Tobago, in one word to me, beautiful. Beautiful place to live. It gives me great pleasure to be in Tobago and do what I do.
The sunsets here are hardly bar none, some of the nicest I've seen.
I would describe Tobago of one of the clean, serene, and the best place that anyone could come. Be easy, be happy, and have a good time. There is nothing to compare to.
This little dot called Tobago exists, and come visit.
Good morning, and welcome to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates, guys. I am Chanel Felix, and when you see me sitting here, it's because we're about to have those conversations that you want to have while I ask the questions you want asked. But before we get into this morning's conversations, let's have our news in 90 seconds.
News in 90 seconds is brought to you by Standards, never beaten on quality and prices.
President of the Tobago Business Chamber, Martin George, responded to Chief Secretary Farley Augustine's plans to establish a Tobago police force within the Assembly. George stated that this force should be modeled after the municipality police in Trinidad's regional corporations, with specific legislation for its establishment. He noted once incorporated, the Tobago Regional Police Service could collaborate with the TTPS. He also addressed the surge in crime on the island and attributed it to the influx of guns and drugs, which he suggested might be entering through both legal and illegal ports of entry. Additionally, Trinidad and Tobago Police Service and the Trinidad and Tobago Coast Guard, along with stakeholders, collaborated to address ongoing violations of rules and regulations at the Buku Reef Marine Park. Despite its designation as a protected site under the UN's Ramsar Convention, illegal activities persist, jeopardizing both the delicate ecosystem and livelihoods of local residents. A workshop was convened to develop strategies to better enforce and acknowledge the challenges posed by changing cultural attitudes towards authority, particularly among youths. Secretary Natasha Charles Pantin emphasized the importance of collective efforts to protect Tobago's natural resources and urged adherence to park regulation by the public. And finally, the U.S. Embassy of Port of Spain has introduced a new online payment system for non-immigrant visa applicants. Applicants can now submit their application fees online, pay their application fees online. After they have created their profiles, payment can be made at Scotiabank branches or online using a credit card. This option offers convenience and avoids the need to go to banks nearby and ensures immediate payment confirmation online. Following the payment, applicants can schedule an interview or register to send documents. The embassy advises that applicants
to rely on official website correspondences for accurate visa information and services. And that was our news in 90 seconds.
Need a fresh start? Upgrade your life with the things you want. At Standard Distributors in Canaan, life is good with zero. Get that amazing fridge, the stylish sofa with zero down and easy financing. Your dream house is within reach. Visit Standard Distributors today. Life is good with zero.
Good morning and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago. As we proceed with this morning's conversation, we're starting off by chatting a bit about the Studley Park Enterprise Limited, where it was before and where it is now. And to have this conversation with me this morning, I'm chatting with a former executive chairman of the Spell Board, Mr. David Walker. Good morning, Mr. Walker, and welcome to Good Morning Tobago. Hello, Mr. Walker, can you hear me? I think we're having a bit of a difficulty in connecting the audio with Mr. Walker there. But he is the former executive chairman of the Spell Board. And this morning we're going to be chatting a bit about the progress of that Studley Park Enterprise Limited. We know that there have been some backlog in terms of the ability of the quarry to provide much needed more raw materials. And I have had conversations with both the former secretary of the division, Mr. Kwesi Devines, as well as the current chairman of the board, Mr. Ashwood Jack. And we've spoken about how Spell has evolved and how it has basically tried to handle issues regarding the sites and the aging of the sites. I also would have chatted briefly with this current secretary, Trevor James, in regards to some of the work that's being done there to help improve the productivity at the Studley Park Quarries Limited. We're going to try again to see if we can connect with Mr. Walker and his audio and see if we have a better connection there. Mr. Walker, can you hear me? Good morning.
Rotisserie, mouth-watering fries, salads, combos, and specials galore. Feeling for something to eat? Come and see. Our rotisserie is seasoned to the T. Kicking chicken, masala, and jerk roast. Crispy fries made from scratch. Who do you know can beat that? Or salads freshly cut and packed. When you taste it, you'll be wanting to come back. So come check us out on number 2 Robinson Street, Uptown Scarborough, Tobago. We open on Saturday nights from 7:30 to 11:30 p.m. Monday to Thursday, we're open from 10 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. and on Friday, 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Contact us at 772-7443 and all social media handles at The Rotisserie Factory.
I can't live without you, I can't be without you for too long. Cause when I'm around you, I feel like the heavens is coming down. I feel it in my soul every time we on the road is a miracle.
Deltec Distributors Weekend Special Wings Friday. £3 wings, 2.5 kilogram fries. Special 100 TT Soup Saturday. £2 cube beef, £2 cow heel, £2 chicken foot, £2 pigtail or smoked bone. Special $150 Super Sunday. £3 leg and thigh chicken, £3 sliced pork, £3 lamb slice, £3 cheese, 2 pack of pasta. Special $250. Located Main Road, Argyle, Tobago. We deliver 20 TT. Contact us on deltecdistributors.com 395-5040 or 237-0102. Deltec Distributors Weekend Special.
Good morning and welcome back. Sorry that we had a bit of a technical connectivity issue there with Mr. Walker and his audio, but we are back now. Good morning, Mr. Walker, and thank you for joining us.
Good morning to you. I hope you're hearing me clearly now, and good morning to all your listeners and viewers.
I can again, and thank you for being here this morning. So we're talking a bit about the status of the Studley Park Enterprise Limited and its progress or regression since you have been the chairman. Now, there have been a lot of discussions in the space regarding the productivity of the plants and its ability to supply the demand. So give us a bit of background information on where you think the plant is now compared to when you were there as the executive chairman.
Right. I have to preface what I say by realization that I have not been on the premises for about a year. I occasionally get people calling me, wanting to share information, but I prefer to look at it from a fairly simple perspective. And that is that at the time of my departure, we were producing material not just for the trucks, the truckers, and the local Tobago enterprises, but also for Trinidad. What we were struggling to do is to increase production to the point where we covered what was required for Tobago and Trinidad and have enough left over to supply the lucrative Guyanese market. It is unquestionable, therefore, that finding ourselves in a situation 1 year later when we can't even supply the truckers in Tobago, that we have regressed dramatically. And, I keep reminding people that that comes at a huge cost to us here in Tobago. What I mean by that is that by this time, 1 year on, we had projected to be producing over 100,000 tons of aggregate per month, most of which was going to Guyana, sold at a minimum price of $20 a ton. So we expected well before now to be generating a minimum of $2 million per month from the quarry. While we find ourselves in this situation, that is money we literally throwing away. We need to fix whatever is the problem at the quarry. Now, my brief explanation would be that the problems that were encountered because of the age of the plant and the lack of proper maintenance over several years, that I and most of my board came to the conclusion that that plant could not service our requirements, and we therefore had plans in place to partly replace and partly upgrade that plant well ahead of where we are now. So I really don't understand what the problem is, because the problems had been identified. So it's not as if the new chairman shouldn't have known what the problems were and found a way to address them within the 12 months that have gone.
Okay, and the former chairman indicated that when they got there, there was no operational manual indicating to them how to manage or to run the plant. Can you speak to that?
I can't speak directly to that, but I am satisfied that there is technical expertise sufficient to run the plant properly, and that in the rare instances where there was something that was above the head of the in-house people, there is expertise that could be brought in externally, sometimes from Trinidad and Tobago, sometimes internationally.
Had you guys earmarked a plant that you wanted to buy from any particular place in the world? Because during my conversation, I remember the chairman said that they went to Ghana and looked at some plants that were there and looking at the affordability of getting a Chinese plant. Had you guys identified any particular plants?
The only plant we had identified specifically in any amount of detail was a used plant in Trinidad that we were interested in and had actually approved on a very risk careful basis. That is to say, we paid a relatively small amount up front, and the remainder of the payment would be totally dependent on the ability of the plant to deliver. And we felt confident that with that kind of arrangement, we would get the maximum support from the vendor, and that we would have been operational within about 3 months of my departure. Other than that, we had spoken to a number of other people who were interested in bringing plant in and suggested to us that plant could be acquired within a period of 3 to 6 months, providing we could generate the capital required to bring it in.
And given that you touched a bit on the aging infrastructure of the plants up there at Studley Park, I remember the former Chief Secretary saying that before he demitted office that they had done over one of the plants. Do you think that that was sufficient enough to increase the level of productivity that is needed for the Studley Park quarries?
Well, I don't know what extent of repairs were done. I know that when I arrived, we were able to produce to a sufficient level that allows us to produce aggregate for all those roads that were rapidly built. So we were producing. And my expectation was as the demand for the Tobago roads receded, we would then have surplus that we could sell elsewhere. So it wasn't as if we were in a situation where we were not producing. We were producing. So I really struggled to understand the depth of the problems that we found ourselves in.
Understood. We're going to take a quick break right here, and we're going to be back right after this break as we continue our conversation on the Studley Park Quarry Limited.
No place like home, home, home. Oh, I love Tobago, baby. When we outside, it's an ocean of love. All that we align to the stars up above. Let we dance now, take a chance now with me. And we go jump till morning. Look, the moon gone sleeping. Tell them we not leaving till the last drop of bacchanal is madness in the capital. So I feel like I run in town again. Jump and shake the ground again. Rave with all my friends and them. No place like home, home, home. We go jump till the moon come down. It's we who the stars shine on. Play a mass and break away. Freedom in with DNA.
Good morning and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago. We have been chatting with the former executive chairman of the Studley Park Enterprise Limited, Mr. David Walker. Good morning and welcome back, Mr. Walker. We have been talking about the status of the Studley Park Enterprise Limited while he was the chairman and some of the progression that we've seen now, or in the eyes of some people, regression. Talk to us about what some of the stakeholders are currently saying in this space in regards to the ability of the quarry to deliver, because you said people often call you and give you updates even though you're no longer there. What are some of the conversations that are happening in the space surrounding the quarries at the moment?
Okay, I will delve into that, but forgive me if I go back to something I feel that is very, very important, which we haven't touched on as yet. And it is that because of the manner of my removal from the position, we neglected to do one of the most fundamental things in management where management changed. There was no handover. It took me 4 months before I felt I had gotten a grasp of all the complexities of not just running the place, but all the other issues about sales, logistics, etc. In the way that we did what we did, not just with me, but most of the rest of the board, we literally threw all that learning out of the window and they started again. So I would imagine that that is one of the obstacles that caused us to be in the situation that we are in now. It would have assisted greatly because we had a whole raft of plans. We had risk analyses. We did all the things that a competent management team would be expected to do, and that was just cast aside at the handover, such as it was. So I would introduce that as one of the key elements of why we went backwards instead of building upon what we had put in place. And that covered all sorts of things, inclusive of even our approach to freedom of information requests. You name it, it was covered. And it was just dismissed out of hand.
Understood. And in regards to what you have been hearing in regards to some of the stakeholders about the plant?
Well, I made it a point not to actively seek to inquire about what was going on. I really, quite frankly, washed my hands. Despite that, I received calls from time to time. I would run into one or two of the employees, even not just in Tobago, but in Trinidad, and they would always wish to have a conversation with me. There is a lot of discontent. I wasn't aware, but I was told that there were dismissals and that staff felt that their views weren't being taken into account. And these would have been staff members who had been around for a long time and who had been a key part of what we were trying to do. So you also then had the situation with a demotivated group of people being asked to do things at a level in order to cope with a demand that they had never seen before. Because again, I got the impression that many of the decision makers did not understand that dealing with demand of 20,000 tons per month, which is the sort of volume that had been done down the years, and moving into the 100,000 plus tons a month is not just a question of numbers. There are all kinds of things that come into play. And staff have to be a critical part of that. And the message I was getting is that the staff, their expertise wasn't valued, and certainly they weren't being rewarded. And with respect to staff being rewarded, I will introduce something that I haven't spoken about publicly before. The rest of the board is aware of it because it was a board discussion and decision. Given the plans that we had for the increased production, we had a target at which we would have automatically increased staff salaries by a fixed percent across the board. This was in recognition of the reality that the staff who work there have not seen an increase in more than 5 years. And we felt that we needed to do something about it. We did not have the time, we felt, in order to do the proper evaluation. That would come later. So we were going to do a blanket across the board increase once we hit a certain target. It wasn't discussed with staff because it was something that we wanted to give them as a reward for the amount of work that we knew they would have to do if we were going to achieve the targets that we spoke about. Other than that, when I speak with any of the previous member of staff, it's very cordial and mostly friendly and discussing issues other than the work situation.
Okay, well, it seems that yourself and the current chairman are on the same page in regards to increasing the type of compensation for the workers at the quarry, because he also indicated that based on the circumstances there, that there should be an increase in the rates for the workers. And as we wrap up our conversation this morning, do you have any words of advice for the current board?
I would be reticent about giving any advice to the current board. They know what their plans are. I don't know what are the foundational elements of their plan. So that I feel if I give advice, it's based on the ideas and the projections that my team and I had done. So I wouldn't be keen to do that, with one exception. Studley Park Quarry, to be successful, has to collaborate with a number of other agencies. It has to do that in order to get its blasting permit, its export license, and a number of other things. The one lesson we've learned, and which we should work upon, is that we need to collaborate rather than stand there and shout at people, arguing that they want to hold us back through spite. That will get us nowhere. In fact, that probably has gotten us to where we are now. We need to take a different approach. We need to work together with people. In business, I've said it so many times. In business, you often have to work with people that you do not like and who may not like you. But in the interest of your organization and that person's organization, you have to find common ground. You have to find a way to work together. And that would be my most important lesson that I would share with the current management and directorship.
Thank you so much. We want to thank you for giving us your time this morning and being with us here on Good Morning Tobago. Thank you so much, Mr. Walker. Guys, we're going to take a quick break right here, and we'll be back right after this break.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
fresh start? Upgrade your life with the things you want. At Standard Distributors in Canaan, life is good with zero. Get that amazing fridge, the stylish sofa with zero down and easy financing. Your dream house is within reach. Visit Standard Distributors today. Life is good with zero.
Start to rise.
Good morning, and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago, guys. As we continue our conversations this morning, we're speaking with the president of All Fisher Folk Association, that is Mr. Curtis Douglas. Good morning, Mr. Douglas, and welcome.
Good morning to you, and good morning to the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago and to the wider rest of the world.
Right. Well, you are no stranger to the set here at Tobago Updates, and it's always a pleasure to sit with you and chat about what's happening in the space, especially where fishing is concerned, especially where the fisher folk are concerned. Now, we saw just a few months back that we had that tragedy of the oil spill in Tobago, and that would have negatively impacted the fisher folk as well as just the persons living on that side of the island. But recently you have been advocating for adequate compensation for the fishermen. Tell us about that journey and where you are at this present moment.
Well, where we are presently as ATFA, the All Tobago Fisher Folk, we are at a crossroad, meaning that we would have done our research, we would have done our investigation, we would have realized what hydrocarbon would have done. Well, the local terms, the oil spill, would have cost the entire fishing community, not only Scarborough, Lambo, but Tobago, because we're such a small island that when one little part is damaged, it affects the entire island. It's like chains that connected. So I'm here this morning to really shed some light on where we are and what is taking place in the growth and development in the fishing industry and how we have been suffering from since the 7th of February 2024 to date, in the terms of being able to go to sea, being able to catch bait. The whole fishing community is being affected because now we would have seen damage of the juvenile fish, which some of them we use to catch bait. So, we cannot go there as it stands, because as it stands, there still is a 500 meters perimeter that is exclusive, that fisher folk cannot enter. So even in that vicinity, we can't catch fish, or more so, we can't even catch a bait to catch the fish. So we are under attack as such, and the government, as we see it, hasn't done anything to alleviate or to ease some of the stress and pain and suffering that fishing community of Tobago are going through as it stands.
Right, and during our interview here, I had a conversation with a representative from the Lambo fisher folk, and she would have indicated that you are currently one of their key advocates when it comes to negotiating or speaking on their behalf to the current government, whether it be the THA or the central government. What has that process been like for you? What have you been doing to advocate for them?
Well, before advocate, what will happen? I just want to give people insight to new listeners who don't know the diaspora or how it was built out and how it came about with the All Tobago Fisher Folk Association. So this was created by Emil Louis. This was a guy, he passed, may God rest his soul, we thank him. And what he would have created is an organization from all different sectors of Tobago. So you find Miss Ramki Soon, who is the president of Lambo Fisher Folk, right? I'm the president of Plymouth Fisher Folk. Junior Koshi is the president of Castara. Sheldon Cooper is the president of Culloden. And it goes on. Miss Williams is now the president of Southwest. So all of them, we have collaborated and formed that team. And there normally be an election every 3 or 4 years where we elect a new president. Hence the reason why I'm the president. So you have a 14 board member, executive directors that direct ATFA. So it's not me, it's the entire board that carries it, but I'm just the president that carries out most of the functions, that represent the fisher folks. So when I sit here, I sit here to represent the board and all fisher folks in Tobago. And we would have taken the THA to court, Mr. London, and they would have given us the legal rights to the High Court of Trinidad and Tobago to represent fisher folks. So we have the ability to sign off and make decisions and speak on the behalf and make decisions on the behalf of the Tobago fisher folk. And it's all in our manifestos and stuff like that. So what happened so far? We would have done our investigation, so we would have done internal investigation of all those people who would have been affected by the fishing, by the hydrocarbon. So we went around, we checked their boats, we checked the engine, we checked their nylons, we would have done an intel visit because we would have a team to do that. So after the team would have done that, they would have reported back to ADFA of what it is, how they were affected, and we would have then calculate the losses from their income, their daily income that they make on a daily basis. Because fishermen can't sit back and say, we join pay by the month. They have to work as a day-to-day, so they are like daily paid workers, right? So we would have calculated based on the average fish. Now, obviously, every fisherman may not catch the same amount of fish. So if a man go one night, some might catch 700 pounds, some might catch 800 pounds. It depends on how the yield is, right? So we would have calculated that and realized that. So what we would have done is find a baseline figure, meaning a lower figure than the highest figure, and calculate the lossage of the fisher folks. So we would have comprised all of that. So in comprising all of that, we would have gotten a total, a baseline total, and we would have submitted that total to the Chief Secretary, which is the Tobago House Assembly, notifying them as an independent body that represent the fisher folk. This is the amount of losses we would have sustained within the 64 days, right? And at that time was over $12 to $13 million at 64 days, as it's still, they are still ongoing, right? So obviously, when the total by that time was over 14 million, so you can imagine how much it will be now. Now remember, when that happened, fishermen had loan to pay, they had a family to feed, and we have the vendors who were removed from their normal working area to the food hub. So it was a whole lot of readjustment was made of the displaced of the fishermen. And also, they were also told not to fish in the area. So that means it would have add up to them loss of earnings and stuff like that. And I wouldn't even calculate for downtime. I also calculate basically for those that were affected, for the fisher folks and the vendors.
Okay. And we know that the central government in their supplemental had recently from the Finance Committee allocated 50 million to the THA particularly for the oil spill. Do you think that is sufficient in order to cover both the cleanup efforts as well as compensation for the fishermen?
Now, let me just say this. I know when it comes to Tobago and it comes to fisher folk, especially Tobago, the majority of media houses doesn't want to highlight anything come from Tobago. Thank God we have local station that, represent Tobago and highlight Tobago concerns and interests. But we would have observed in the past, anything that have to do with Tobago, it doesn't even take second or third or fourth place. We are last. We are dead last in everything. And when I heard that the finance minister is offering Tobago $50 million, you know what the first thing came to my mind? Where is Shamfa Kodro? Where is Ayana Westeroy? Where is Watson Duke? Where is their minority leader, Kelvin Morris? They all speak of interests of Tobago, but none of them have made utterances of Tobagonian being affected by this and the amount of money that was allocated for Tobago. Nobody can say nothing. And we love Tobago. We love Tobago people. But yet still, we could see by the actions of the finance minister that there is some kind of April grudge against Tobagonians and what Tobagonians did. After Tobagonians been contributing so much to this GDP through the national gas and oil industry. So I am really not happy, and that type of behavior should not exist in the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, because quite clearly what he's saying is that the Chief Secretary is lying. So when the Chief Secretary produced a figure, he believed it's nefarious and it's not truth, right? So when you're doing that publicly, that means you have some type of bitterness, like some kind of bitter water was drank and they told him was Tobago, and he has that in his possession. No, even in all of this, I'm not even hearing Kamala besides Professor saying anything. We're not hearing anybody saying anything. You know why? Because it's Tobago. And I'm telling you, the fisher folk were the first responders to the hydrocarbon in Tobago. And now you are allocating not even half of the amount, right? But 50 million. 50 million cannot even pay the contractors.
Right. And for those of you watching, the request was made for $153 million, and only 50 million was given from the central government.
And I believe if this is the action of the finance minister, he should be charged for some kind of high treason inside. Because quite clearly, what he's saying, Tobagonians are liars. Tobagonians are liars. So when the invoice has been sent to the assembly through TEMA, because TEMA were one of the first responders with the fisher folks to ensure that we safeguard our bestest little island, and this is the result of Trinidad-led and Trinidad roots. So now when I'm speaking here, people are going to say, oh, this and that. But my main concern is not about political party, about red, white, black, blue. I don't business about that, right? The only thing I care about is the well-being of Tobagonians. Right? Because when I checked the last time I checked my birth paper, it didn't mark TPT or PDP or PNM, you know. It marked Tobago. And my main concern is about Tobagonian and Tobagonian interests, because we should have the same opportunity as Trinidadians, because you are getting money from ITA, from international agencies, and you are playing now masters in Trinidad and saying, we are not going to give you this money after it was approved. They would have acknowledged and said this money will be approved to take care of the oil spill. You know why? Because there was no lie. The oil spill was real. And the work we have done in Tobago was real. So why it is then, when the international agency is sending the money for Tobago, you find Tobagonian is not receiving the allocation that they should got. We would also, foreign entities would have give US how much? Hundreds of $1,000s. And to date, ask the THA, the Chief Secretary may be able to answer it, if they have received any money to help in this hydrocarbon oil spill by this reckless behavior of the Solo Creed, right? And why it is that Tobago have to suffer because of what? Because somebody drink bitter water and they call it Tobago? That is not fair and that is not right. Give Tobago what belongs to Tobago. So the fisher folk could go and pay the loans and get back the boat in the water and start to fish and start to feed the family. Because when you create an action like this, it have a downstream effect. Then we see crime go up. Then we see all kind of proportionately things happening to the people of Tobago, because we have been suffered and not treated fairly and rightly. And we talk about democracy. That is not fair. So today, I am not happy. I am not happy this morning, and I want Trinidad to know Tobagonians are not happy with that decision, and we think they should rethink that decision, and the Prime Minister, being a Tobagonian, need to look into that decision and treat with it. We expect, if not 150, give us $120 million, because it has been funded by the agency in England when Stuart Young took the workers there and make a claim. This is Tobago, and it's real, right? And we are asking for what belongs to us. We're not asking for something that is not national, because the oil spill didn't happen in Trinidad. It happened in the shores of Tobago and in the sweet serenity of Lambo. And we are calling on them to do the right thing. So I don't know how they're going to do it, but that action is inciting violence in the community and in society. And as a leader, you were there to represent us. We are your employers. We employed you. So we expect you to do the right thing. Money wasn't given to Trinidad to run any, to go and give the friends. This money should be allocated for Tobago and the people that work hard to preserve our tourism industry and to protect our marine environment in Tobago, to keep and to maintain that Tobago is one of the cleanest and best place to vacation and to come and enjoy our natural resources.
But would you be willing to have a conversation with the MPs, maybe Shamfa Kudjo as well as Ayanna Webster Roy, to discuss the compensation for the fisher folk coming from the central government while the Chief Secretary utilizes the budget that he was given to maybe pay off the contractors?
No, I will have a conversation with anybody, hence the reason why I'm here. I make no apologies to it. I speak for Tobago. I don't speak for any political party. Whatever political party you come with, once you have the interest of Tobago and the Tobago diaspora, I'm willing to sit down with anyone and discuss, and let's work it out for the benefit of Tobago. And you know, is it when I get call from fishermen, right? They're paying their loan credit. You don't want to take away the engine, but the engine and then done break up already, right? They can't pay their rent. The wife calling me, right? I take money from my pocket to help, yeah, man, at $500. That should not be. And now, the Honorable Finance Minister is denying Tobago their rights. Their rights, and as a matter of fact, do you know that the ship hasn't even turned over as yet? It is still in the waters of Tobago under the Ministry of Energy. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Energy are being paid. The Ministry of Energy are being paid. But all the contractors who would have came under the THA, under TEMA, are still struggling to get their money. That is not right. How that could be fair? So Tobagonian must know, Trinidadian must know, the entire Caribbean must know, right? The entire Caribbean must know the draconian behavior that is being displayed, and they must be identified about it. So I'm saying it could be an oversight by the minister, it can be an oversight by the Minister of Finance. So I'm saying to him and to the entire colleague, you remember I am not leaving on anyone, to make it a duty to adjust this, because this money is not going to the Chief Secretary, you know. This money doesn't belong to the Chief Secretary, you know. This money belongs to the people of Tobago. And this money belongs to people who would have worked hard and to ensure that we bring back Tobago to its pristine stage. Right. So why?
Right.
Why?
And one of the things that we often overlook is the actual individuals that reside along the coastline and what type of compensation is given to them, because many of them were forced to vacate their home for maybe a number of days during this time. So schools were affected. It is clear that $50 million is not sufficient to rehabilitate, whether it just be the coastal area there or even to compensate the fishermen. So suggesting that maybe the conversation takes place with our MPs.
The part from the conversation take place with MPs. The media, the Tobagonian diaspora of media need to do more. We need to advocate more and let people be aware of what is taking place in Tobago, right? And what Trinidadians are doing to Tobago. And we need to correct that ill now. We need to start to exercise the right process. We are not, and you know why this is happening? Because the oil spill is already done. So you would have engaged me to do a job, right? Without any down payment, without any mobilization fee, without any form of funding to go on. But it is done now, right? But you know, as the colonial masters in Trinidad are deciding now it's done, so here what I could give you what I want and I am going to keep the rest. So when he decided to give Tobago $50 million, what is he doing with the rest of money that he would have gotten from ITOF, from the people in Trinidad? So that going in their pocket to fix roads in Trinidad, we are saying no, we are not going to allow that. We are asking you kindly to do the right thing. Tobago don't like to speak out, but I hear this morning, and I'm here as the president of all Tobago Fisher Folk, right? And my team are saying enough is enough, and we are calling up on the ministers to do the right thing, and the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. We ain't talking politics here. We are talking work done, paid for work that is already done. Because a lot of people would have came and give free help, and a lot of people would have came and work and use the material, use the machines, use the boat, to ensure that we safeguard Tobago. We would have led by example by being the first responders in Tobago with TEMA to ensure that that boat would have been able to dock in Tobago, and the foodstuff would have been able to reach our shelf and reach our homes and our plate to feed our children. The fisher folk would have done that. So we are calling upon him to work in the spirit of the law and to do the right thing and allocate at least $120 million for the Tobago. Or as a matter of fact, I'll give them the money. Still, give us $120 million, tell you to pay us the rest later when you get the money from ITOF or whatever. But you can't just go and tell Tobagonians who already work and they've been sleepless nights with their wife to ensure that it's done, and tell them no, they're only getting 50 million. 50 million can't even help pay nothing for us after they pay contractors. One contractor alone probably is 15 million a month. Eh? Come on. So what, Tobagonians are fools? Enough is enough. And if you're thinking Tobago, you will understand what is going on. And we need to stand up for Tobago, because if we continue to let these type of abuse take place, it will continue to take place for us and our children. And I'm standing up now for my child and my children and my grandchildren. The fisher folk is taking a stance now. We are not going to settle for that, and we are not going to allow it, because the money, as I said, is not going in Mr. Chavez's pocket. This money is to pay people that would have worked. How much more we'll be able to take?
Right. And while we wait for the conversation to be had and for more money to be allocated, what type of temporary measures are you currently discussing with the Chief Secretary to give the fishermen some type of relief?
Well, we are sending an email to have a conversation with him, because we are living in Tobago, and the House of Assembly is the one that we are looking forward for help. And we will hope that we have a sit-down conversation where the executive of ADFA will be able to sit down with the Chief Secretary and see how best we can work out some form of help or relief to the fisher folk through this medium. Through a medium where at least men could now pay their rent and pay up their bank loans and stuff like that. Because just to buy an engine, a proper engine, is over $150,000 if you're talking about seriously fishing. That's just for the engine. I'm not talking about the steering, the hydraulics. I'm not even talking about that. That's just the engine, a Suzuki 150. That's just a basic engine. 150. I mean, I'm talking about the boat itself, right? And repairs and maintenance. And I'm even talking about the gas rates that I spend $2,000 a day just to go to sea to make a living to feed our families, right? I'm even talking about sat phone for in terms of safety and stuff like that, and GPS. That's just basic. So, oh God, what happened? Can't we live as one? Can't we now be fair and honest with each other? We must be able. I respect everybody. I respect the Prime Minister. I respect the every member of parliament, the opposition, THA, every political group. I respect them all. But by the end of the day, we need to do the right thing. This is Trinidad and Tobago, and there are time when there are time for politics, and there are time to do the right thing so that we can grow. We must be able to grow. The fishing industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry. Why it is, to me, one of my fishermen told me Thursday, listen, Mr. Douglas, it seemed to me like the government of Trinidad and Tobago is trying to kill the fishing industry in Tobago, because it seemed like there's an attack on the fishing industry. And I don't believe, I refuse to believe that that is the approach or the plan of the government of Trinidad and Tobago in the terms of growth, because we now need to promote more entrepreneurs, whereby the government will be able to we not be able to depend on the government, but be able to contribute to the GDP by paying our taxes and put things in place so that, all these functions will be able and contribute to the growth and development of the society.
Right. And even as we wrap up this morning, what type of assurances can you give to the fisher folk in Tobago that yourself and your team are working assiduously to ensure that compensation is coming to them soon?
Now, let me speak slowly. I don't want to speak fast. Since 1996, Emil Louis and the team would have ensure and entrust this organization, build them together, and we would have the responsibility, and more so the legal responsibility, to represent fisher folk on this island. And I'm saying to you this morning, the entire board of executive of all Tobago fisher folk, which is ATFA, will do their utmost best, and with the authority that was given to us by the High Court, to ensure that no fisher folk that was affected by this hydrocarbon and by the reckless behavior by the Solo Creed and the owner of Solo Creed, right, will be left behind. We would not ignore or pass over or step on any fisher folk that will be affected, whether you like me or you don't like me or you don't like ATFA. We have a responsibility and a mandate to ensure and represent all fisher folk on the island of Tobago. And I am leading this chart to ensure that some form of compensation will be paid to the fisher folk, or let me use the right term, they're using a term now, some form of relief will be given to the fisher folk and the diaspora. And also, I'm not leaving out the vendors, so that you all could start and build back your life that was damaged by no fault of you all. And I'm going to press hard and speak to who I have to speak to, do whatever the entire executive do what they have to do to ensure fisher folk is being treated fairly. This is 2024. There is no room for institutional bullying or financial bullying by any government. And if this is the actions of this government, we are the employers. And as an employer, we employ them with our fingers. And the day and the time is coming when our fingers will have to speak to those who would decide to bully and take advantage of the people of Tobago and the fishing industry.
Thank you. Guys, we want to thank you so much for joining us this morning. Again, thank you, Mr. Douglas, for coming on and representing the Tobago fisher folk. And guys, we're going to round up our conversation right here this morning. Again, we want to thank you for liking, sharing, and commenting. And as he would have said, do your part to help advocate for Tobago, not for politics or any other ideology except for the forward movement of the island of Tobago and the people of Tobago, and by extension Tobago fisher folk. And we're going to use this time to call on whoever has the power in this moment to speak on behalf of those fisher folk, to ensure that not only Tobago gets what it deserves, but that these fisher folk and their families are given the type of compensation and relief that is needed to help them get back on their feet. Oftentimes we feel like these are groups that go unnoticed and no one is speaking out for them, but this morning we're using our platform here on Tobago Updates to call on whoever has the authority to ensure that compensation comes to the Tobago fisher folk. Guys, we want to thank you again and say have a great day. Thank you for doing all that you can do to make Tobago Updates the #1 broadcaster here on the island of Tobago. Again, have a great day.
Tobago Updates. Good morning, Tobago. Let's go. It's a brand new morning. Rise up to a brand new dawning. As the passion start to rise, the energy fill the skies. I say thanks.
Tobago Updates Television, your exclusive gateway to Tobago, broadcasting the beauty of this